Yo, it's your boy Jay Boogie back with another video today. Make sure you guys don't forget to press that like, comment, share, and hit that subscribe button under my YouTube channel. And if you're watching this from TikTok, make sure you guys don't forget to press that like and that repost button as well. And today I'll be talking about no other than the top 10 best point guards of all time. So let's get into it. So at number 10, I got no other than one of the best defensive guards of all time. No other than Gary the Glove Payton. Gary Payton, definition of a guy that can back up his talk. You didn't want to see him isolation one-on-one defense. One of the best trash talkers of all time. And at that time, he was the only point guard in the NBA history to win Defensive Player of the Year award. And Gary Payton was a guy that can easily knock you up from half court, 94 feet, talk trash to you. Then on offense, he was a good offensive player as well. Get you in the mid post, you know what I'm saying? Talk trash to you and go get a bucket. And of course, that Sean Kemp and Gary Payton duo was one of the best duos, one of the most entertaining duos of all time in basketball history, of the original Lob City, in my opinion. And you know, they had a great run, you know, going to multiple playoffs, going to the NBA Finals in 1996. Unfortunately, you know, they lost to the GOAT himself, Michael Jordan, during the 96 NBA Finals. But Gary Payton was a point guard, I feel like, who still could play from today's era, simply because he has a mentality of just, I can talk trash to anybody, back up my talk, guard you down to 4 feet. Probably can't do the hand checking, but he still had the good enough basketball defensive IQ to still guard players. And, you know, of course, during the 96 NBA Finals, people forget, once George Karl finally made the decision to let Gary Payton guard Michael Jordan, the two games that they won, that's when Gary Payton was guarding Michael Jordan and kept Michael Jordan at a low field goal percentage. And Gary Payton, in his own right, after the Sean Kemp era, still making all-star appearances, still making playoff appearances, and then eventually all the way to the 2000s era. In 2006, he was a key part. He was a key part of the Miami Heat championship run in the playoffs. You know, winning his first NBA title. And then, of course, he went to multiple NBA finals with the Sonics, the Lakers, with him, Carmelo, Kobe, and Shaq in 2004. And then 06 with him, D-Wade, and Shaq, and Jay Will. And Gary Payton, like I said, is one of the more iconic defenders in the league. Like I said, he will lock you up 94 feet, go get you a bucket. He was a good playmaker as well. You know, he don't get talked about enough these days, but gotta give him his flowers. And obviously, he's one of the greatest point guards to ever step foot on a hard court, on a hardwood floor. So Gary Payton definitely deserves to be number 2 on this list, no doubt about it. And then at number 9, no other than the true Canadian himself, flashiest Canadian, Steve Nash. This dude is on this list. He is the most efficient point guard on this list. Offensively, shooting wise, this dude is the definition of efficiency. I mentioned this on my channel before. Steve Nash was just incredible. A great pick and roll player. Great basketball offensive IQ. Great at setting up his teammates. Him, Dirk was a good duo for their time during the Dallas Mavericks era. You know, before he left to Dallas. But Steve Nash is the definition of pure efficiency. A guy can get you 19 points on good field goal percentage, 93% from the free throw line, and then still can get you 12, 13, 14 assists in the game. And, you know, of course, you know, you already seen this clip of how efficient he is with the ball, had a good mid-range game, a great three-point shooter, can finish at the rim with either hand, and has that signature move where on a fast break or just on offense, he will dribble and go around the rim, you know, baseline, go around. And then, you know, it's a move that's so effective because it throws off the defense and everybody doesn't know what's really going on. He can set up a play, make the right pass, or go get a bucket with that move. And, Steve Nash, like I said about him, yes, he has one of the most controversial back-to-back MVPs, but one of them seasons, he deserved it. And I feel like, to me, if you want to debate on that, the 05 was truly his because of the fact that he was such a great offensive impact to that Phoenix Suns team. That was just one of the best teams to walk into that 05 season. And my goodness, bro, that offense of him, Stoudemire, Sean Marion, Joe Johnson, and during that Mike D'Antoni era, in the mid 2000s, that's one of the best offensive teams. The fast-paced scoring, the high-scoring games. They was ahead of their time. And during a slow-paced era of basketball, because that's when zone defense was implemented during that time. And the Phoenix Suns would just run you out the gym, and you couldn't keep up with them in transition. Open threes, the lobs, the pick and roll players, and him and Stoudemire already early in the shot clock. Then you had Sean Marion, the all-around forward, and then your shooters are Joe Johnson at the time and Quentin Richardson. Shout out to him. And like I said, Steve Nash, man, like I said, back-to-back MVPs. Like I said, pretty efficient. Multiple conference finals appearances with the Suns. Him and Stoudemire was a great duo for that time as well, especially pick and roll duo. Because guarantee you, Steve Nash can fake the pass and still light up scoring the ball, or get to Stoudemire, and all my Stoudemire, y'all know, immediately posterization. So shout out to Steve Nash to be number 9 on this list. Number 8, my favorite point guard of all time, no other than the Brody himself, Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook, seeing his highlights, bro, his highlight speaks for itself. The fact that this guy gets so much hate, it's beyond me. It's crazy. And I feel like people don't give him enough credit during his prime. You seen this little clipboard I made. In his prime, that pulling me at the free throw at the elbow, in the mid-range area at the free throw line, was unstoppable. Westbrook had it all in his prime, all-around point guard. Still, he was a decent three-point shooter. But mid-range, he was OD. Dude, mid-range pull-up was top-notch. One of the best of his eras in the 2010s era. And athletic, top 4, top 5 best athletic players to ever play in the NBA. And, for his motor, his mentality to never give up. Russell Westbrook, the definition of hard work, dedication, great motor, doesn't give up on play. He's always going to give you 120% every single night. And I said Russell Westbrook, what he did from 2015 up to, I want to say, around 2021, the triple-doubles was insane. And then to average a triple-double for 3 straight seasons is unheard of. And, I said this dude was incredible, impeccable, prime player of his prime. And then still going strong to this day, playing with another triple-double machine of Nikola Jokic on the Denver Nuggets. So that's going to be a great insight to see. But you see the accolades, seeing the stats. Westbrook, all-time leader in triple-doubles of 199. This season, he's guaranteed he might end up in the season giving, I'd probably say, 215 triple-doubles. Because he's going to have to lead that second unit off the bench for the Nuggets, so it's guaranteed. But back to these highlights you're seeing right here, man. Westbrook was that dog, that motor, transition. You didn't want to see him because he was quick. And then he would just punch the basketball around with a lot of great monstrous dunks. For a point guard to only be 6'4", but he played like he's 6'8". So Westbrook just had that heart and that motor. And for what he did in his prime, it's one of the best resumes you've ever seen. Scoring champion and, a 2 or 3 times assist champ. So Westbrook done it all in his prime. So gotta give him his flowers, no doubt about it. And at number 7, I got no other than Chris Paul. Chris Paul is the definition of a point guard in terms of the word elevation. Here's why. The Hornets made them a playoff contender team. Went to the Clippers, playoff contender team. Could have been a championship contender team. Who knows? Then he went to the Houston Rockets, already a prime James Harden. Elevated their offense, still made them above 500 team. And then went to OKC, which nobody would have thought they would make the playoffs. And people forget, he played with Dennis Schroeder and the young SGA. And the young SGA learned from Chris Paul. And guess what? They made the playoffs. They're one of the best offensive teams in the league when he got traded to the OKC. Chris Paul, and then also to the Phoenix Suns, which Devin Booker needed much help. Veteran point guard Chris Paul finally met to the finals with that team of the Phoenix Suns. So Chris Paul, the definition of a player that can elevate any franchise. And Chris Paul, one of the best defensive point guards, one of the best pick and roll players, one of the brightest IQs in the game. And I say Chris Paul was a mid-range assassin. Still is, but he's a mid-range assassin, especially in his prime. Can set up teammates, and dude was a good three-point shooter, of course, but more so his mid-range game. And this dude, like I said, his intangibles, his IQ of the basketball on both ends of the floor, especially offensively. And then he was a great on-ball defender, and he was a great playing the passing lanes, making, I think, 8 to 9 all-defensive teams. And Chris Paul, seeing these clips, man, this dude was just phenomenal, especially in that pick and roll, because he did a little ball fake where he twists the ball, come right back, pull up for the mid-range. And this dude just know how to pick your poison. He know how to pick the defense apart. And like him and Rondo's, those type of point guards with great IQs, I would love to, learn from them. Just study that IQ on a deeper level, how they see the floor. But Chris Paul, especially during his Clippers run, I did a video on the best version of Chris Paul. The best version of him would forever be the Clippers, just simply because of that duo of him and Blake Griffin, or trio of him, Blake, and DeAndre Jordan, and then bringing on Jamal Crawford and JJ Redick. That was a fun team to watch. They just couldn't get up the hump, unfortunately. And of course, their head coach was no other than Doc Rivers. So, like I said, Chris Paul deserved to be number 7 on this list. This dude, like I said, a definition of elevation. And number 6, I got no other than the great John Stockton. I'm going to tell y'all something about him. No slander from John Stockton. Because I'm telling you right now, this dude is a point guard you would want from to play in today's era. Here's why. He can get 12 points a game. That's cool. 12 points and still give you 14 assists per game. And then go on the other end and lock up the other team best defender on the perimeter and get easily 3 steals off them. A pure point guard. And throughout his career, he got better as a jump shooter. And you know what team would be the perfect fit for if that didn't have Ty Jones? The Phoenix Suns. Why? You got the scores of KD, Booker, and Bradley Beal. And John Stockton, his stats and accolades is crazy. Great durability for one. And then the postseason. In the freaking postseason of his career, for 6 straight postseasons in the playoffs, he led the playoffs in assists. Double digits assists for 6 consecutive straight postseasons. That's unheard of. And then he had a season where he was averaging 14 assists per game. John Stockton, bro, him and Karl Malone was a good duo of their primes. The original great pick and roll system of duos. And John Stockton as a point guard, I feel like anybody would want on their team because hella healthy, stayed in shape every single time. Doesn't talk much, gonna lock up the best player on the team. Then easy can get you 9 to 10 straight assists just off good setups. And especially if you're a good pick and roll player, he's phenomenal at that. So John Stockton is going to deserve his flowers. He's not the flashiest. He's not the most scoring point guard on this list. But he's definitely one of the best pure point guards on this list. Y'all gonna understand that for sure. So no John Stockton slander. I mean, like I said, he deserves to be number 6 on this list. I mean, like I said, this dude is an all-time leader in assists and one of the top all-time players in steals, or 4 steals. And like I said, John Stockton is in his prime, especially throughout the 90s, bro, was just phenomenal. I mean, this dude was that guy of definition of a pure point guard. Like I said, he can go off for 20, but he still can give you like 15 assists and like 3-4 steals. I mean, he was just that type of player. But if you want to look at pure point guard, look at John Stockton. So I gotta give him flowers to that, no doubt about it. And then at number 5, I got Oscar Robertson, the big O. Excuse me, the big O, the original triple double machine. And you know, him and Kareem was a great duo in their heyday. But Oscar Robertson was a great scorer, good rebounder. I mean, dude just did it all for himself, you know, for the game. You know, one of the few players that you can look at that you're like, okay, I could dominate scoring, I could dominate in rebounding, but I could dominate in assists. And, you know, I think he has 180-some triple-doubles total for his career. But, of course, he inspired players like the Jason Kidds, the Westbrooks, the Jokic's. I mean, it goes down the line, but he was the original Mr. Triple-Double, the big O. And like I said, Oscar Robertson, you know, this dude was phenomenal in his prime. This dude can handle the rock, a good passer. Like I say, can light up, scoring machine. I mean, for his career, he was a 25-plus point scorer. And so, you know, and then he won a championship. I think he was with Kareem. So, I mean, Oscar Robertson was phenomenal in his prime. I couldn't find any great highlights of him, you know, because due to copyright issues, so I'm not going to get into that. I ain't got time for that. But, you know, obviously I could put the links in my bio to look up his highlights. You guys want to watch it, but Oscar Robertson was phenomenal in his prime. You know, you gotta give him respect. He's the original Mr. Triple Double. You know, his accolades, his stats speak for itself. And then at number 4, the second Mr. Triple Double of point guards, Jason Kidd. You know, his impact alone, once he arrived at New Jersey Nets, it's probably one of the best stories you'll ever hear, simply because in the 2000s, slow pace era, heavily defense, still aggressive era on defense. But after when him and Stephon Marbury got traded, the impact he made to that franchise, to revive that franchise, back-to-back finals appearances, one of the best defensive teams ever, one of the best offensive teams for that time. I mean, Jason Kidd just made a great impact to that team. A guard, was a great rebounder, not the most efficient shooting point guard in his prime, but he still can get buckets. Great, phenomenal offensive player in terms of IQ, passing ability, setting up his teammates, knowing how to get to that, knowing how to get his teammates in their hot spots. And, you know, him and Kenyon Martin and Richard Jefferson, that was another Lob trio, Lob City era of them two. Then, of course, when Vince Carter came along, but before Vince Carter, it was him, Kenyon Martin, and Richard Jefferson. And the impact J. Kidd has made, to the point where Richard Jefferson was finished like top 10 and most improved player of the year. I mean, because I think Richard Jefferson, his second year, that's when their second NBA Finals appearance, he averaged like 15 a game. That's let alone based off the impact of Jason Kidd. So Jason Kidd, like I said, he was phenomenal in his prime. Dude, perfect size point guard to, you know, defense. He was more defensive minded, he was offensive minded, but J. Kidd was really great at defense if you look at defensive highlights. But you see in his highlights, he's mainly known for his offense, the incredible passes he made, and then eventually going to the Dallas Mavericks era of him and Dirk. I mean, one of the best playoff runs of any team in the NBA history. I mean, the Mavs went through the Blazers, the B-Roy, LaMarcus Aldridge, Then it was the Lakers of Kobe, and then OKC was with a young KD, Westbrook, and a James Harden. And like I said, that's one of the greatest playoff runs you ever seen in your life. And grateful for enough for J Kidd. He was a part of that, and he was a key contributor. So J Kidd deservedly so got his championship ring. And like I said, for what he did for the Nets, when he played for Phoenix Suns, don't forget, Phoenix Suns, he had one of his best years there as well. He was a dog a minute. I think he had a season where he finished like top 6, top 5 in the MVP race. I think it was in 2000, I believe. Don't quote on me on that, but J Kidd's definition of a true all-around point guard. A decent scorer, great facilitator, great IQ, a great defensive-minded point guard on the other end of the floor, know how to lock up players, playing the passing lane, get steals. And then in transition, he was great in transition of just making some of the best alley-oop long passes ever. I mean, J Kidd had it all, and he deserves his flowers, no doubt about it. And then at number 3, no other than the Zeke, boom, boom, Isaiah Thomas. Relentless, fearless point guard. He can brag, rightfully so. Knocked out MJ in back-to-back conference finals appearances. And, won a finals MVP of his career, but definitely a top 10 ball handler in terms of dribbling skills. I mean, Isaiah Thomas was phenomenal. And then, of course, that bad boys era of him, Joe Dumars, Bill Laimbeer, Dennis Rodman, Rick something. I forgot his last name, but I know his first name was Rick. And, that era was entertaining. But they backed up their talk of winning back-to-back championships. And, Isaiah Thomas, like I said, he was a fearless guard, 6'1", 6'2", good finishing ability. This dude was just elite with his ball handling skills. I mean, dude had a decent shot creating ability in terms of just the fact that he wasn't like the Steph Curry's and the Chris Paul against that shot, but he still had good enough ball handling skills to get to the rim. And like I say, he was a great relentless finisher at the rim. And like I say, he wasn't no pushover. You see in his highlights, he had a decent mid-range game. Wasn't the best three-point shooter, but I mean, Isaiah Thomas was a dog in his prime, in his heyday. I know he get a lot of flack for him and Michael Jordan beef, especially for the Dream Team incident of him not making the team. But outside of that, you gotta admire that, like I said, player that knocked out Jordan back-to-back conference finals appearances, finals MVP, legging the league in assists. I mean, dude was just, Isaiah Thomas was him, and like I said, one of the best ball handlers. I mean, if they allowed him to do more moves back then, like players do now, Isaiah Thomas would have been a very, very high-scoring machine type player, no doubt about it. But shout out to Isaiah Thomas, be number 3 on this list. And number 2, here we are for the top 2. At number 2, I got no other than Magic Johnson. Yes, people, I got Magic Johnson and number 2. Yes, let all the nostalgia run through your souls. Let it out. I mean, I get it, but hey, he's still a top. I'm not mad if someone put Magic Johnson at number 1, but this is my list. This is just my opinion. Magic Johnson at number 2 on this list, but his impact alone for the Lakers franchise was phenomenal. A rookie leading the LA Lakers to the NBA Finals. Well, not leading them because he had Kareem, but for what he did in the NBA Finals as a rookie, point guard playing center, one of the best performances for a rookie. I mean, he brought that razzle dazzle to the NBA, because the NBA didn't have the biggest entertaining side of it. So when Magic Johnson and Bird came along in the league, that sparked up the entertainment and brought more eyes and brought the views up. But That was the original entertaining team of the Showtime era. You know, him, Kareem, James Worthy, Brian Scott. I know I'm forgetting other good legends on that team. Cooper, I'm not saying Cooper, but them other guys as well. But Magic Johnson was phenomenal. Talk about flashy passes, and it was timely. It was well timed. So it wasn't just him just doing it, but he knew, just like I said, IQ wise, he just knew how to pick the spots. Just went and do the passes. You know, he was a decent scorer. But I'm gonna tell you something phenomenal about Magic Johnson. In the 1985 and 1986 postseason, back-to-back years, this man averaged 15 assists. Led the postseason averaging 15 assists. 15 assists in back-to-back postseasons. That's insane. That's incredible. And not too many people can say that. Not too many people can do that. And then, of course, he led, you know, in the 80s in the postseasons of averaging double-digit assists. But to average back-to-back 15 assists in back-to-back postseasons, bro, I think one of them years they had to win a championship. Because, I mean, bro, 15 assists, bro, like you dropping dimes left and right. And, you know, like I said, he brought the razzle-dazzle, the entertaining side of the NBA once he arrived to the league. Him and Bird pretty much took up their viewership in the 80s. You know, because those probably was the only two teams that made the most finals appearances in the 80s. I think outside of probably Detroit, I think only them two teams. But, you know, I say Magic Johnson for what he did for the game, the impact, the influence the guys like the Penny Hardaways, the Rondos, the T-Macs, all them guys that looked up to Magic Johnson. I mean, this dude was phenomenal. And to the WNBA players as well. So Magic Johnson was a big influence, you know, just his aura, his chemistry, his personality. I mean, this dude, you seen his highlights, dude was just phenomenal. And, you know, Magic Johnson, for what he done for the game and the influence he still has to this day, to present day NBA players, is incredible. And like I said, you can't deny it. I mean, like I say, if you have a number one, I'm not mad at it, but this is just my list, in my opinion. You know, because he's been number one for quite a long time, but, you know, I even have to accept reality of certain things, of how I look at certain, you know, aspects of situations. But Magic Johnson deserves to be number 2 on this list, no doubt about it. And at number 1, no other than the Chef, the babyface assassin, Stephen Wardell Curry. This dude, one of the greatest, not one of the greatest, the greatest 3-point shooters of our lives in the basketball history, in the basketball universe, in the basketball world. You know, this dude, talk about shot creating ability, off the dribble at the 3-point line. I mean, you think you can play good, think you can play great on-ball defense. All it's going to take is this little bit amount of space. Even right here, he's going to pull up automatically with confidence. Then look away. Then he's going to look away. That's what you call a confident shooter. And a lot of kids look up to that. And he revolutionized the game, you know, making every other team owners, GMs, coaching staffs implement teams to shoot more threes, all because of him. But I gotta give credit to Mark Jackson though, because he embraced Steph and Clay to take more threes and embrace their role, you know, during his coaching era with the Golden State Warriors. But for Steph, I mean, him already having good shooting form, good shooting mechanics, a great shooter. I mean, he even said he looked up to Steve Nash, and then when he got drafted, he was compared to Steve Nash. So, you know, in terms of just, I guess, their shooting ability and their elusiveness with the basketball, but still one of the greatest ball handlers as well. I mean, seeing his highlights, his 3-point shooting. I mean, this dude is a great full-level scorer. The deep 3 ball, the regular 3-point shot, the mid-range, and he's an underrated finisher at the rim. And he's a good rebounder for someone that's just only known for shooting. He's really a good rebounder. So, Steph Curry, throughout his career, man. This dude, every single season, I mean, when you just watch him shoot the basketball, I mean, it goes in. And Steph Curry just truly impacted the youth in his prime till to this day. Even just regular basketball hoopers like me and everybody else, at one point where it's just like everybody just wants to shoot threes. Because this dude, not because of his ability, but it was his confidence. And when he's shown that, it's like you can't get mad at it. And playoff run has been incredible. Multiple championship, finals MVP, finally added to his resume. But I mean, he's an all-time three-point leader made of three-point makes. I mean, and then he led the 2010s, obviously, for the most three-pointers made. So Steph Curry impact alone of just shooting the basketball has greatly influenced a lot of people in the world that play basketball, people who try to get into basketball. I mean, some people say they look at Steph Curry and how he shoots the basketball, but honestly, it takes time to mechanics to form and stuff like that. But Steph Curry, for what he done, for the league itself, just elevates another level in terms of just shooting and just the confidence of shooting the basketball, especially at the three-point line. So Steph Curry, like I said, I got to give him his flowers, man. Especially for someone that's like a little rival to me, because I'm a diehard Grizzly fan. So we got a little rivalry with Golden State during that time when it was him, Clay, and Steph and Draymond. But, outside of that, though, Steph Curry deserves to be number one on this list. Like I said, you've seen the influence, you've seen the impact, you've seen the revolutionary of the game because of him. So, I mean, speak for itself. You've seen the highlight, the stats, the accolades. You've seen it all. So, that's my top 10 list of the top 10 best point guards of all time. Let me know who y'all think I left out. Also, I'm going to mention the honorable mentions in the bio or probably in the comments eventually. But if you like this video, like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever you got to do. I love you guys. J Boogie is out.